Well, says it is here. There, it's off now.
He's like,
Huh.
because he has to look at me, he's making him nervous.
Yes. Well, good evening, everyone. It is Monday, February the 13th. The time is 7 p.m. Welcome to everyone who is here. Welcome to all the councillors, with the exception of Councillor Doucette, who is not able to attend tonight and sends his regrets. Welcome to CAO Jeff Baker, Deputy Administrator Wendy McKinnon, Municipal Clerk Kim Casely is back there, and we also have our Police Chief Louis Sutherland, and the special guest tonight for a presentation is former Deputy Mayor of Kensington, Corinne Pickering. Welcome to you all, and also for those who are watching from home, welcome to our regular monthly council meeting. You will find all our agenda and everything on the website if you wish to look on there. Before I start, I want to acknowledge that the land upon which we gather is the unceded Mi'kmaq territory and is covered by the historic treaties of peace and friendship. We pay our respects to the indigenous Mi'kmaq people who have occupied this island for over 12,000 years, past, present, and future. All right, Council, the agenda is before you. There are no additions or deletions to my knowledge at this stage of the game. If there's no other changes, I would entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. So moved by Councillor McCrae, seconded by Deputy Mayor Spencer. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Any declarations of conflict of interest, Council, on the items that are being discussed tonight, Council or staff? Hearing none, we'll move right along. Well, it is certainly my pleasure tonight to make a couple of presentations, and I will start with the first one being to our police chief. Louis, would you come up here near the front somewhere? Right over here would be fine.
I'll get right out of your way.
For the benefit of everyone, I'm presenting this on behalf of the Premier King, who is recognizing the Police Long Service Awards, and Chief Louis Sutherland it's in recognition of your 15 years of meritorious service in the province of Prince Edward Island. Thank you for keeping our community safe. And he's got more than 15 years of service, but he's 15 years of service, actually more than 15,
I have 18 years.
18 years of service in Prince Edward Island. So the province started recognizing just this year, I think it was in 2022, all officers who had 15 years of service to the province of Prince Edward Island or longer. And I think they go 15, 20, and 25, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
So on behalf of Premier King, I would like to present this to you, Louis.
Thank you very
Chief
much.
Sutherland, and I also have, now, we got to make sure I don't break
She
this.
likes to pop out.
There, this is the jewel, so if you want to
I'll hold it both.
hold them both.
Yeah, I'll hold it.
There.
I'm pretty proud of this, guys, I have to tell you. It's, I will just say a couple of quick words and
Yeah.
thank the
Here,
Premier
I'll
for that.
hold on to that for you.
And very proud to be here in Kensington for 18 years. There won't be 18 more, that's for sure. But I have enjoyed it, it's been good, and I've worked for some great councilors and mayors and stuff. So anyway, thank you very much.
Louis,
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
former Deputy Mayor Pickering,
Thank you.
would you like to come forward?
Hello.
Well, hello. Well, it's good to have you back here
I
again.
like I'm in the principal's office.
Well, yes, you're being called to the principal's office. Well, as everybody is aware, Corinne decided not to run this time. She has had 8 years on council, 4 years as a councillor, and 4 years as deputy mayor. And we do appreciate all the hard work and service that you have put into it. I know you're working on other things behind the scenes, and we do have some correspondence tonight that council is aware of some of the things that you are working on, and you and I have had many discussions. But we want to give you something to remember the town of Kensington by.
So
And this
sweet.
is presented to you in appreciation of your years of dedicated service as a town councillor and deputy mayor for the town of Kensington, 2014 to 2022.
Awesome.
And I think along with this comes You have your key fob for the Fitplex?
Well,
And do you
somewhere.
use it? Well, one of the things we don't do is we don't deactivate it because we want you to stay healthy. So if
Okay.
you haven't been using it, maybe this is your chance because it'll be free.
That's great, thank you so much.
All right?
I appreciate
So on behalf of all of town council in the town of Kensington, thank you, and this round of applause is for you.
it. Thank you, appreciate
Congratulations. Now, you should
What?
keep your speech limited to 5 minutes.
it. I have nothing to say. Thank you, I
See-
really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun on the 8 years.
Thank you. And you are more than welcome to stay for the meeting tonight.
I was planning on it.
Good. We'll have you here.
miss you so much.
I know, I know. Okay. Let's move right along to some of the more boring parts of the evening, instead of the exciting parts of presenting awards. The minutes of the previous meeting on January the 9th are before you. Are there any errors or omissions in the minutes of January the 9th? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adopt the minutes as circulated. So moved by Councillor Toombs, seconded by Deputy Mayor Spencer. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Any business arising out of the minutes? All right. Hearing none, we'll move along to the reports. The first report is the Chief Administrative Officer's report. That report is before you. Any questions on the report ending January the 2023? Councillor Toombs. You want to turn your mic on, please?
For number 26, to do with the tree planting,
Yes?
I was thinking of another area would be not just the Gorman property to the right, but also to the left down there, we do have a well and stuff and quite a swath of land.
That is actually the...
Is that part of the
that's
property
part
too
the
you were
property
thinking
that-
of?
Yeah, it's part of the property that we're thinking.
Because that would be it's just kind of wide open. That'd be great to put use that as a,
Yeah, that whole area basically any of the area that is in our well field is being considered
okay.
well field and area that is our property.
Okay.
I'm correct on that, Mr. Baker? Yes. All right.
And just one more, for the crosswalks and stuff, have we heard any more about them, where they're talking going to put them, or what the deal is, or?
Mr. Baker, do you have anything further?
Yes, maybe I can't recall specifically what has been communicated at this point. They were hopeful to get the crosswalk installed here on Victoria Street East before Christmas, but couldn't find a contractor to do it. And so the location that they are proposing is kind of adjacent to the main entrance of the town hall. So basically, you would come to the end of the Confederation Trail here. You would have to walk down Victoria Street East, cross a crosswalk, and then back up Victoria Street East to get to the Confederation Trail. So they won't install crosswalks from trail end to trail start, if you know what I mean. So they're also proposing to do the one on Broadway Street North in a similar way. And that we knew wasn't going to be done until the spring of 2023. So they are proposing to install a crosswalk at the intersection of Commercial Street and Broadway Street North. So essentially you would do the same thing. You would come to the end of the trail, you would walk down Broadway Street North to the intersection, you'd walk across a crosswalk, you would walk back up the sidewalk and then continue down the trail. But it's been that way since the very beginning, since we started having conversations with the province. This is where they advised us that they would be installed. We've argued the logic of that. We've tried very difficult to negotiate the placement of the crosswalks from actually along the trail, so that they weren't offset from the trail. but they refuse to do it.
Yes, Councillor Toombs first.
Well, like, that's the first I've heard of coming down here and walking across here and walking up, like, I walk the trail and bike it some, and I don't know about anybody else, but that seems like a stupid idea. That's just my opinion of who's gonna walk down here, go across here, and walk all the way back up and then go down the trail. Like, that's just dumb.
Agreed.
You know, you may as well have nothing. As far as that goes, they may as well forget it, you know.
Well,
Now, that's just my opinion. That's just whoever come up with that lame idea. That sounds typical.
Councillor, Deputy Mayor Spencer.
Just curious what the reasoning was for that, because I agree with Councillor Toombs. It does not seem. I would suspect that you're going to have 5 or 10% of trail users actually do that.
I would say you'd be lucky to get 5%. I'd say trail users are the only ones that are going to use the one out here. I'd say are the ones that are not going across the trail. They're coming down here and going down the subway. I don't think they couldn't give us I don't think they did give us a good reason, and as far as I'm concerned, I agree with you all. I couldn't think of anything that any more ridiculous, and I don't know why the Department of Transportation can't get their head together and do what's right, what's safe and everything else, because there's going to be lights. And I think we should continue to lobby, but I would be no more frustrated than you fellas are with it. Mr. Baker.
Yeah, no, I was going to echo that. That's been our argument from the very beginning. We don't see the logic in doing it. From our perspective, you're putting a safety. Their reasoning that they've given us at the end of the day is potential liability. And it was primarily around skidoos, that skidoos, snowmobiles, Skidoo being a brand, yeah. The fear is that if there is a crosswalk installed, that snowmobiles will come out into the road without caution, if there's a crosswalk there. And that is the reasoning that they gave us. And again, I've been arguing this since 2007 to try and get crosswalks across.
I think we should send a letter. I think we should send a letter off to, I don't know how many people, and argue and dispute that, and let's not accept that at this stage of the game, because it just does not make sense. If the snowmobiles are going to go across, there's a stop sign there. Anyway.
If I can just add, I mean, I had a snowmobile for years, and that's the next dumbest thing I've ever heard because there's a crosswalk. Half the time you can't see if there's a crosswalk. Snowmobiles don't come to crosswalk and say, hey, there's a crosswalk, let's just squirt across there. You know, there's a stop sign on the trails on lots of crossings and stuff where there's crosswalks or not across this province, right? So that's just, yeah, I think I agree with the mayor. We got to lobby, and that's just a dumb idea. That's just going to make it worse down here.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Spencer.
Thank you, Your Worship. The type of crosswalk would be the same as what's installed at the elementary school?
Correct, with flashing lights.
Right. So you'd almost have to have the operator of the snowmobile get off the machine, walk over and push the button to activate the lights. So
see how much sense it all makes.
yeah.
When
So no one's ever going to do
view.
that. They're going to just take their chance. Like when they see an opportunity of cars not coming, they're going to shoot across at that point. Yeah. Okay.
Well, has everybody agreed that we do a letter and somehow see if we can convince anybody? To date, we have not been able to convince anybody, but we went for about 10 years before we could convince anybody that we needed crosswalks. So we have made some headway. Maybe maybe before they install these things, we'll make a little more headway. Mr. Baker looks like he's got something to say.
No, I was going to say this will be the 4th letter that I've written in regards to this, specifically around the placement of the crosswalks. And again, the argument has always been, and it's a bit of a common sense approach, I guess, from my perspective, is to me you would be lessening your liability if you added a safety mechanism for people to cross where one doesn't currently exist. To me, that lessens your liability.
So your letters have been to the
Minister.
to the minister.
And to,
The ones that I signed as well?
these letters are going right back to 2007 when West Sheridan was minister.
We'll write another letter to the Minister of Transportation. Try to put the political route on it again. Councillor Glant, did you have something?
Thank you, Worship. I just want to make a comment on it regarding crosswalks in general, just for information purposes. I travel to several communities during the week that have crosswalks going across their highways, and Kincor, Muscush being two that I can think of right off the top of my head. And the crosswalks right on the road, crossing over from one side of the road to the other, and they have them in those communities.
Yeah.
So who's responsible for those? So.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll see if we can't give them some education that'll convince them otherwise in the direction they're already going. Any other questions on the CAO's report? Councillor Glant.
Just on talking about the tree planting there, so I'm assuming there's been some discussion regarding our public our forest up here behind the high school. I brought it up there early in the year, with all the trees that were down and so on and so forth. So.
Yes, that has been also one of the things under discussion. Do you want to add any more to it? We're trying to find out what can be done where it is a heritage forest. There's limitations, we know. We're not sure what that. I think Mr. Baker was going to try to find out some of the things, whether we could go in and clean it up or not. Some of the things you're not allowed to do. We don't know what we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do, but that has been part of the discussions with Kensington North Watersheds Association. And I'm not sure if you get anything further to add on that, Mr. Baker?
I don't really, other than the initial meeting. I've not done a whole lot more with it at this point.
All right, and Councillor Toombs.
Just one other thing, the EV chargers,
Yes.
they're all in and operating, correct?
They
Or
are,
usable, or-
I don't know if they're working. You can actually charge your vehicles, whether the whole thing is set up for the proper using your charge card and everything is still.
Well, okay, from my understanding is there's so much free, and then after it goes through a certain thing is what it was explained to me. But anyways, what I was wondering is, the one over at the train station, there's the double one, and then there's the other one. Is it going to be removed? The original one that was there?
It will be, let's put it like this, that'll probably going to be relocated.
Okay, because, I mean, it doesn't make sense to have one that you have to pay and one that is always going to be free,
Yeah.
sitting next door,
Yeah,
right?
we know that. That's just
I was just curious if
hasn't been
anything was
done
going to be
yet.
done with it, or
Yeah, and
if it
it's-
had to stay there.
No, the plan is to relocate that somewhere, as long as it's still working. I think it's still working as of yet. Anything else, council? Is it moved and seconded? I forget. All right. Can I have a mover to adopt the CAO's report? Moved by Councillor Glant, second by Councillor Toombs. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, council. All right, moving right along to the Fire Department Statistical Report. That report is before you. Any questions, council? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adopt the report as circulated. So moved by Deputy Mayor Spencer, seconded by Councillor Toombs. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, council. Moving on to the Police Department Statistical Report. That report is before you. Any questions on the report, council? Councillor Glant, or Toombs.
Not so much on the report, just wondering about the police car that was disposed of. Have we gotten anything to do with the parts? Any offers or?
Chief Sutherland?
Yeah, sure. We haven't actually yet, but I did have a couple calls last week for some different stuff, but it was things that we couldn't actually sell. So headlights and taillights that are already have the strobe lights in them, but that's it.
Thank you.
All right, anything else, council? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to receive the report, or adopt the report, and moved by Councillor Toombs, seconded by Councillor McCrae. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, council. All right, we are now into the Development Permit Summary Report. That report is before you. Any questions on the report, council? Are you off, Chief? You didn't have anything else to add in the police department, did
The
you?
only thing I just wanted to say is that after many years, on there. Just
Go ahead,
after
Chief.
many years, we finally were able to get that school zone down from a 50 to 40. And we see it every day that it's paying dividends.
Yeah.
And of course, the new flashing lights are up there too, so anyway. It's all
Good.
good. Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks, thanks, Chief. All right, council, anything else, or any questions on the developer permit summary report? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adopt the report as presented. So moved by Deputy Mayor Spencer, seconded by Councillor Toombs. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, council. Bills list. Bills list for the town are before you. Are there any questions on the bills that are before you, council? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to receive the bills in the amount of, just a sec, I get to the bottom of that page, the long sheet, $340,190.56. So moved by Councillor Mann, seconded by Councillor McCray. Did you have your hand up? Sure. Okay. Maybe you're just turning the page, but that's good. Any questions, council? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Additionally, there are capital bills in the amount of $521,797.66. Any questions, council? No, $181,607.10. Good thing you folks are watching me. Any questions on the capital expense? And hearing none, I would entertain a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $181,607.10. So moved by Councillor Mann, seconded by Councillor Toombs. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, council. And we are now into the bills for the water and pollution control, or water and sewer utility, in the amount of $12,482.80. Any questions, council? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion. Moved by Councillor Mann, seconded by Deputy Mayor Spencer, to pay the bills in the amount of $12,482.80. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you. The consolidated summary income statement is before you. Any questions, council, on the summary? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to receive and adopt the report to the end of December 2022 for the summary income statement. So moved by Councillor Mann, seconded by Deputy Mayor Spencer. All those in favor? Motion, Councillor Clamp, do you have your hand? Okay. Motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Moving right along to the Credit Union Center report. That report is before you, council. Any questions on the Credit Union Center report to the end of December? Councillor Glant. Well, you were on. There, you're on now.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have a couple of things regarding Credit Union Center, not so much about the report. My first thing is I want to bring up is regarding the lighting board for the outside lights for the ball field they use in the summertime for bringing the lights on. It's my understanding that that was completely damaged in Fiona. Now, I'm not sure, I guess I have 2 or 3 questions. Number one, are we aware that it was damaged? Number two, if we are, is it being ordered? Because it's my understanding it takes several weeks for that to be ordered and put in, and it should be done now, like at least ordered now and put in early spring before they're ready to use the ball field. And the other question would be, I would assume insurance or Fiona funding would cover the loss of that. So I'm not sure where that's at or if we're even aware of it, but it's completely damaged.
Yeah. I'll turn that over to Mr. Baker. I think there's an issue about who owns the product, but I'll let Mr. Baker address it. I know he's had some discussions on it, so he may have a better idea right now.
So we are certainly aware that the board was damaged during Fiona. It is not an insurable expense for the town because it has never appeared on our capital asset schedule. So it's not a part of our property policy. So what we are trying to do, I believe we have included it in our disaster financial assistance claim, and I don't believe the board's been ordered at this point, but I can check on that and see what the status of it is. Yeah, and if it's not been ordered, then we can order it and try and make the claim back through disaster financial assistance, but insurance won't cover it.
Councillor Glad?
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure that that's on the agenda to get it done, because we don't want to leave it till May when they're ready to turn the lights on, or June, and we, we'd like to have it fixed and up and running by that time for those folks that use that. My other issue is regarding Credit Union Center, and I was asked to bring it forth tonight at the meeting, and I'm still frustrated, but I'm not near as frustrated as I was on Saturday, or even before I come to the meeting tonight. I met with the mayor and our CAO prior to the meeting, and I think the mayor is going to talk on it later, but I just wanted to bring it forward here tonight because I was asked to, and I was at the rink on Saturday for the ADL figure skating championships, I guess it is, and I represented the town there for a brief moment, the opening ceremonies. And from the time I got to the rink, I was a bit frustrated by the time I left and some of the complaints I got and so on. And I won't go into them all here tonight because I've already discussed them with the mayor and the CAO, but I just wanted to bring it forth to council here. And as I said, the mayor can elaborate more on it when he speaks. But there's a number of issues there, and I feel very strongly they got to be addressed and addressed soon. And it's just it was just very frustrating, and I was very disappointed to see what I seen down there on Saturday. So I just wanted to bring that forward because I had told folks that I would at our council meeting and let them aware that we are looking into it. And as I said, the mayor can speak more about it now or later in the meeting, whichever he chooses. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Glant. Yes, I guess I might as well speak to it now. I was going to bring it up under other matters, but I might as well speak to it now because we are dealing with this Credit Union Center report. I have met with Councillor Glant, and Mr. Baker and I have met, and matter of fact, we have a meeting tomorrow morning with the Credit Union Center manager. I was in as well on Saturday to take a look at some of the things that were going on, or some of the things that were not correct. I did have a meeting with a couple of the users, and we do need to put some more emphasis and effort into trying to make that facility a cleaner operation, and I think we're going to also have to take a look at putting some more money into it. We're not sure exactly what all has to be done right away and what can be done right away, but we are going to be putting together a plan to get the place fixed up, cleaned up, and make it more presentable and a place that we can be proud of. And I think Mr. Wood is certainly willing to work with us on it, and we may need to spend some dollars that we did not have intended to spend, and you may see some expenditures coming through, but the target right now is take a look at what has to be done, fix what has to be done, and if we have to spend some capital to get the place working the way it should be and appearing the way it should be, then that's what we're going to have to do. So if council has any questions, by all means, feel free to go ahead and ask. We can't get into a whole lot of specifics yet because we're still working on the plan, but sufficient to say that unless council has an objection to us spending some money, we're going to spend some money and we're going to fix the place. Councillor Glant.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a couple more comments on it. I encourage all councillors to take a walk down at the rink once in a while and take a walk in and look around and see if they see anything that's that should be improved on as well, because there is a number of things there. Just wanted to mention a couple of other things. We do have two teams that have their own dressing rooms in the facility, as I know Jeff and the mayor are aware of it. I'm not sure if other councillors are aware of that, but there's two teams that have their own dressing rooms where they leave their gear when they're done playing and they're there for the next night. They're the two major teams. And it's our responsibility to make sure those rooms are intact and in good shape and so on and so forth. But it's also somewhat of a responsibility of those teams to make sure that they keep those rooms up to snuff as well for their own use. And I think some of that's not being done as well as those teams have access to the arena through the back door. I call it the back door, but a back entrance, I guess it is. And if they're entitled to have, in my opinion, if they're entitled to have dressing rooms at the arena where they can have access through a different way than the front entrance, I would suggest that we take a long, hard look at whether we're going to allow that in the future or not, because I've heard reports of some of those doors being left open, and just maybe we should look at, if they are going to have their dressing rooms in the future, that everybody enters through the front entrance of the rink, whether it be coaches or players, and the only time they use the back door is if they're loading a bus with equipment or so on and so forth. So that might be something we should look into too, just to the fact that some of those doors might be being used for other reasons other than just those people entering the rink.
Thank you, Councillor Glant, and Mr. Baker's making a note of that one as well. So, any other comments, questions, Council, on the Credit Union Center report? All right, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to receive to adopt the report as presented. So moved by Councillor Toombs, seconded by Deputy Mayor Spencer. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, Council. The next report is the Mayor's report. That report is before you. I don't think I have anything in addition to add, except for one thing. I am invited to, and I can take one guest with me to, oh, I didn't bring it with me. Can't tell you what it's for if I didn't bring it with me, can I? It's on my desk. What was it? A sponsorship reception, yes. That's on from 6:30 till 9 on February the 23rd, I believe. Anyways, anybody want to attend with me? I did get permission to take one other person, and if anybody wants to attend with me, by all means. If not, I will start asking to see if a staff person will come with me. Councillor Glant.
What day is that on?
Let me just double check. I think it's a Thursday. It starts at 7. It's down in Charlottetown. It is on Thursday the 23rd.
Which is a week from this Thursday.
Yes. So if there's more than one, we'll draw names.
If no one else can confirm right now, I can confirm with you in the morning on that.
All right. If anybody wants to attend with me, let me know. And if there's more than one, then we'll draw names and see who the lucky person is. And you can travel with me. And it starts at 6:30. It's at the top of the park. And it goes till 9 o'clock in the evening. And I'm not sure what all takes place through the whole thing, but at least we are one of the sponsors. Yes, Councillor Glant.
You're driving?
I'm driving.
So what time would you be leaving?
For those who are watching at home, they all think I never speed. And that's a good thing. Occasionally I do, but I haven't got caught yet. So anyway, we will probably leave at 5 o'clock. Make sure we're there before. I always like to arrive 15 minutes before, not 15 minutes late. So I'd sooner be there a little earlier than a little later. So we'll plan to leave Kensington at 5 o'clock, whoever comes with me. Thank you for bringing that up, Councillor Glant. It's nice of you to make a note of it. Any other questions, Council, on the Mayor's report? Councillor Mann.
Oh, thank you, Your Worship. Not really much a question, just want to reiterate your comment there with the Bedford weekend. It was great to see it back in action again this year after a couple of years of being off, and I just got to give congratulations to the coordinators for this year. They just did a bang-up job, so I think all the parents and the kids had a fun, excellent time while they're visiting our little town.
Yeah. Yes, it was a great way to celebrate the 55th year since the start of this, so yes, by all means, thank you to everybody, not only the organizers, but the coaches and the billets and the players and everybody, so. But the organizers, of course, did the major part of the work. And our own Kim Gaisley was one of the ones that was heavily involved in organizing it as well, so we appreciate that. Any other comments or questions, Council? Oh, Councillor Glant?
I just want to also comment as well in the Bedford Exchange. I attended the Saturday night events and spoke with some friends, that people I've known probably for the last number of years that were down from Bedford. And like our end of it, some of them are not being able to make the trip anymore, but there is several people that come or that played on the very first Bedford Pee Wee team 55 years ago, and they're still coming down now, and two of them are here on Bedford weekend, so it's good to see them, and I think everybody seemed to be happy that it was back on the agenda, and they're looking forward to Kensington going up there. And the other thing I wanted to mention was the ADL, I guess it's called ADL Star 1-3 Championships now, which I always call it the ADL Championships. I attended that, as I mentioned earlier, on Friday. Represented the town, and it's in its 38th year this year since that started. And I remember I worked at the rink back in the very first time it started, and that's a long time for another event to be going, and still not quite as big as it was. It used to go from 7 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock at night back in the early days, but now it's a little bit shorter, but it's still going, and that's the main thing.
Yes, and Councillor Glant, actually, this was the 39th year. Next year is their 40th year, so you're only out a year. So, but next year they are planning, they celebrate their 40th year, so we do hope that they continue to hold it in our facility in Kensington. Any other questions or comments, Council? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adopt the report as presented. So moved by Deputy Mayor Spencer, seconded by Councillor Toombs. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. All right, the Federation of PEI Prince Edward Island Municipality Report. Councillor Mann, do you have anything to report?
Oh, thank you, Your Worship. Well, we had our semi-annual meeting there on the weekend, so like I say, it was in your report of all those who attended, but yeah, it was a pretty good, pretty great day. We had a great presentation on financials.
Yes, you present them.
It was the highlight of the day, so if everyone remembers something from that day, that we're going home with that. So we also had a presentation on councillor liability with an emphasis on like conflict of interest. We had a presentation on emergency measures with an update on some Fiona updates, like say what they do right, what they do wrong. And the highlight, well, I guess, was a tour of the Canadian Centre for Climate and Adaptation, the new building that's built in St. Peter's. And that's really, really nice facility. So,
Yeah, it was. And I think the point they were making on conflict of interest, that it's always safer to err on the side of safety than to not. So if in doubt, if you have to ask the question, you probably should be excusing yourself. So that's kind of, I think that if there was anything came out of it, it was probably more of that if you ask the question, you've already answered, you probably should err on the side of safety and excuse yourself and not leave yourself open to anything. All right, anything further? That's everything, Councillor Mann? Any questions of Councillor Mann? Hearing none, Councillor McCrae, anything from the Kensington Area Chamber of Commerce?
Thank you, Your Worship. We held our regular monthly meeting, and the President's Dinner is going to be on April the 13th, and we're looking at having another casino night like last year. We're looking at, and we were talking about doing up a web page similar to, I'm a member of the East Hants. For anyone like new in the community or someone that's reaching out for help, it's East Hants has it, and it's like, well, I'll give you an example. There was 2 EMS guys went into Halifax, And one guy had to leave early, so he put on the East Hands, anyone coming, my way or whatever. So they all jump on and they kind of say, okay, I live here and I live there. So kind of the focus is new residents in Kensington. So if they don't know where to find a plumber, they can go on and say, who's the nearest plumber, or, who can I contact, and kind of give information out. It's or snow removal, carpentry, anything, just to kind of help each other out, to ask questions, or maybe, someone does need to drive to Charlottetown. Is anybody going? I find with the East Hants one, it's a lot of people helping people. And that's what we're going to try and focus on, is building a stronger community, helping each other out. Especially there's so many new residents in Kensington. Like years ago, you knew every person that walked down the street. Now it's like every third. So, and there's a lot of them that wouldn't know who to reach out for if they do need help, or, who's the mayor, or where, how do I get a hold of somebody at town hall or whatever. So we're working on that, and we're going to be doing up a web page for it. And there's, I think they've mentioned they're going to have a new co-op student, so we might get her involved in trying to do up the web page for us. So that is on the list to do things. And in late June, we're looking at a car rally. Right now, there's still a lot of F's and what's and buts on it. But just the President's Dinner is on April the 13th, so everybody mark that in your calendars. And we had our AGM this morning and at the Mary Christian Center, and it was well attended. And we had a great speaker. So Julie's doing a great job. Great job. So that's everything I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McCrae. Any questions of Councillor McCrae? All right, hearing none, we'll move into the new update for the 55 Games Plus. As you noticed in my report, our Deputy Mayor Spencer is the liaison, and we do have former Deputy Mayor Pickering and also Craig Saville. Did I get that right? It's not Seville, it's Saville. Saville, right, got it right. In case he's watching, I got it right, Craig. Are going to be the co-chairs of it. So, Deputy Mayor, do you have anything to report tonight, or is everything pretty well? It's just in the initial early stages.
I spoke with Ms. Pickering last week and again today, and the 55 Winter Games are going on in March. We were hoping to have a meeting then, but it looks like it'll be mid-April.
Okay. All right, thank you. And then on the Heart of PEI Committee, so far I'm the one that's sitting on that committee, and there's nothing new to report except that there's been funding put in for ACOA, and they're looking to have a funding for some programs from April the 1st this year to be, with projects to be completed. There was a project put in, but they were ACOA was looking for more detail, so there'll be more to present on that as we go along, but at this stage of the game, it's just ongoing. So if there's no questions, we'll move right on to new business. New business, the first question, or first is request for decision number 2, the exempt wage staff increase for 2023. That request is before you. Councillor, are there any questions on the request for decision? Clarification. Councillor Mann.
Oh, thank you, Worship. No, as I mentioned in the committee there, to me, it just seems like a very, very, very high rate. I know it's great to pass it out, but I know, like say, just maybe kind of lead by example, I guess, but we wouldn't see our constituents get this kind of like a 14% increase over 2 years and probably 10 years. So just want to throw that out there. So.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions, Council? Hearing none, does anybody want to read the resolution into the record? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Spencer.
Be it resolved, the town council authorize the chief administrative officer to provide a wage increase effective January 1st, 2023 to exempt staff, including the deputy administrator, municipal clerk, administrative assistant, police chief, deputy police chief, public works supervisor, credit union center manager, and credit union center assistant manager in an amount up to 7.7% according to the non-union employee handbook.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that resolution? No seconder? Then, you're seconding it? All right, seconded by Councillor Mann. Any discussion, council? Deputy Mayor Spencer.
I agree that it is a large amount, but this is our guideline that we have approved in our own employee handbook that this last council passed. So I believe we have to follow what we set out ourselves.
Thank you. Any other comments, council? Councillor Glant?
So, having said that, is it up to, say, our CAO to determine, is that for all staff, or is it depending on their evaluation, or as to what they get, or how's that work?
As the motion says, it's up to 7.7%, so Mr. Baker does have the authority to not go over 7.7, but he can obviously go less if he feels that people are not deserving of less. Is that what you understand, Mr. Baker? Yes. Okay. Any other questions, council? And I know it is a lot, but keep in mind one thing, that when you make your policy, you don't anticipate these things happening. The next time around, it could be zero, and we'll be saying zero then too. So just because it's high now doesn't mean it's going to always be high. And we sure hope it's not always going to be high, or we'll all be looking for a lot more. Anyway, council, if you're ready, are you ready for the vote? All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. Those opposed? 4 in favor, and Councillor Mann opposed. Motion is carried. Next is the request for decision number 2023-03, street lighting upgrades for the town of Kensington. The request for decision is before you. There are 25, I believe, isn't it, Mr. Baker?
25.
Yeah. The list is there, and we've discussed them all in committee of council. Councillor Toombs.
Just on the lighting, I brought some forward to Mr. Baker, and just to let you know that they've been replaced and fixed, I noticed, on some of them, so that's great. And see, they must be getting around to get at them, so I just wanted to let you know that some of those have been done.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Toombs. Any other questions, council? Hearing none, who would like to read the resolution into the record? Councillor Toombs, go ahead.
Be it resolved, the town council authorize the CAO to proceed with the placement of 25 additional streetlights throughout the town and in newly annexed areas as recommended by staff. Be it further resolved that the CAO be directed to draft a street lighting policy for the town council's consideration.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that resolution? Seconded by Deputy Mayor Spencer. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, council. Next is the request for decision 23-04, Kensington Area Chamber of Commerce sponsorship opportunity. That request for a decision is before you. Are there any questions on the information that is being presented, council? Hearing none. The resolution is there. Who would like to read into the record the resolution? All right, Deputy Mayor Spencer. I haven't called you Deputy Mayor Pickering tonight yet.
Not yet.
And what? This is the first night, so I look down and see you first and realize you're not there.
She may jump in if you do
What?
call me that. Be it resolved, the town council authorize the CAO and mayor to enter into a sponsorship agreement memorandum of understanding with the Kensington Area Chamber of Commerce to provide an executive-level sponsorship for a 5-year period beginning in 2023 and ending in 2027 at a cost of $5,000 annually.
And it's, it has the, if you looked at the MOU, it has an option to renew after 5 years as well. The Board of Directors of the Chamber of Commerce requested 5 years with an option to renew in 5 years rather than straight 10.
Would
So,
you like me to read that?
no, that's, I think that's, it's in the, should that be in the MOU? Or should it be in the motion? It's just for a 5-year period with the option to renew. Should that be in the motion?
It can, if you want. I don't think it necessarily.
Yeah, I think it's okay the way it is because it's, the memorandum is as we have anyway. Any questions, council? Oh, it's moved. Is it seconded? No. Seconded by Councillor Toombs. Now, moved by Deputy Mayor Spencer, seconded by Councillor Toombs. Any questions, council? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, council. All right, we'll move into other matters. I just wanted to acknowledge that this happens to be School Staff Appreciation Week. So I don't know if you were aware of that or not, but anyway, we want to celebrate and thank all education staff who do go above and beyond the call of duty to teach our children and make sure that the future residents and leaders of our community are getting the best they can. Another thing I wanted to mention is the budget process is starting. And Mr. Baker and I have had some discussions on that. We are looking, just so everybody's aware, we are looking at big increases in our budget this year for heating oil. Electricity is not going up quite as much. Our interest rates have gone up significantly, and it's making it going to be a real challenge. Wages, of course, are going to be considerably higher as well. And we're also looking at budgeting some increases in honorariums for firefighters. We haven't decided on any amounts, but council will get a chance to take a look at that. And of course, one of the other things that we've talked about in the past is whether we need a part-time fire chief, and we're looking at whether we can afford to do all these things and what can be done. And so we'll have more information as the process goes on, and at this stage of the game, we don't have anything firm that we want to discuss publicly at this stage of the game because we still got some work to do. Anyway, just to let you know that the process is occurring, and we're hoping to have a draft for our committee of council in February. So we hope to have some sort of a draft budget at that point in time. And that is all that I had on other matters. Does anybody else have other matters that they wanted to mention? Councillor Gallant.
Thank you. I wanted to bring up something here this evening as well, and it's just for council's awareness. As we talked earlier, we had some comments regarding our credit union center, but also in this community, and I've had several discussions with some local residents, local service groups, and so on. I don't know if anyone else around the table has, but we're in need in this community, and we've got a lot of lots out there now with a new business park where we're hopefully going to get those filled up in the next few, maybe months even. And there is a number of new residential areas, or possibility of new residential areas within town. And we're in bad need in this community of a facility that we can use for events. And whether that be a facility with a kitchen and a large, in my eyes, should be a gymnasium that can be used for a lot of sporting events as well. We currently, or I shouldn't say we, but I currently play some sports, and we're continuously, and I'll use the word fighting with the schools to try and get into the schools to use the gyms. And in my opinion, those gyms should be available to the public when the school is not using them anytime. But that don't seem to be the way it is. I've had some discussion with our MLA as well, and I've also had some discussion with him regarding a facility in our community that we can use for special events. Prime examples, we were turned down to host the Federation meeting a couple of years ago because we didn't have a place to do it. And I think even our service clubs, the Legion obviously is not as big as it once was. The Lions Club don't have a hall anymore. So I think it's something that every council member should think about, as well as you, your worship. And we should look at seeing where we can go by getting a facility in this community that we can all use. We are a growing community, and we don't have a place since we lost the Kensington Rec Center to fire a few years ago. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I think there is a need, and it's something we need to all reflect on. Anything else, council? Any other matters? Deputy Mayor Spencer?
Thank you, Your Worship. Just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention, and maybe most people are aware, but some may not, that Councillor Gallant, our mayor, and our deputy police chief, Landon Ewell, have all been awarded the Queen's Platinum Jubilee Medal in the past few weeks, and thought we should make that known and congratulate them all.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Congratulations there, Councillor Gallant.
Thank you for that. And just as I told them when I received the medal, and I certainly appreciate those who nominated me as well, but you only receive those things when you have a lot of good people working and helping you throughout the years and all your volunteer projects, and I've had many, and as well as the support of your family. So I humbly received that medal, but on behalf of my family and all those who've helped me over the years. Thanks.
Thank you. Anything else, council? It was an honor to receive it today from Lieutenant Governor. Yes, Councillor Toombs.
This is just to do with our own fellows for sidewalks and snow removal. I was down to Charlottetown, and I can tell you our sidewalks are way better for cleaned. And I was down there with my wife, and we were for a drive on Sunday, and we both commented that, you know, for walking stuff, how much easier it is in around Kensington. It's not perfect, but I mean, it is. I still sometimes, you know, am surprised at how we get along sometimes, you know.
Yeah, it's funny
And
you
I
mention
hope
that.
that's passed along to everybody.
And I, being down there today myself, driving along the street, and I noticed there was an awful lot of snow piled on the side of the road. It wasn't up on the sidewalk, but it was. It made the road narrow, and it was a little difficult to meet two cars. And if that had been in Kensington, I think it would have been cleaned up and hauled out of there. But anyway, thank you. I think the Public Works Department do deserve a round of congratulations on the job they do, and they do work under the trying times at times, but I think they do a wonderful job, and let's hope they continue to keep everything working good. Yes, Councillor Toombs?
Snow can be a thankless job, and it's like I say, it's even our streets. I know my wife comments quite a few times when she works in Summerside that she's happy when she comes home here because at least our streets and generally are clean and a lot easier to get home than other communities.
Good. All right. Thank you, everyone. If there's nothing else, we'll move right into correspondence. The first item of correspondence is a thank you card from the family of Peggy Clark. The town made a contribution to charity on behalf to the Kensington United Church, as a matter of fact, in memory of Peggy Clark, because Ken Clark is our lawyer, and that was his mother, in case you were wondering about the relationship. The next is a request from the Red Cross, I believe it is it? Yes, no, Heart and Stroke, which we typically just receive that for information unless council has a desire for otherwise. All right, received for information. Next is a request from the Kensington Skating Club, and last year we purchased a Silver Blade advertisement, half-page ad. Do we wish to proceed with the same recommendation this year or go more? Council? Yes, we need a motion.
I move that we continue with our Silver Blade donation for half page for their program.
All right, thank you. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councilor moved by Councilor Toombs, seconded by Councilor McCray. Any discussion? I presume that was like $500. You meant $500?
Well,
it's because it ranges from 500
It
to
says
750,
between
so-
500 and 749 for a half page,
Yeah,
so.
so did you want to make it 500? Do you want to make it 550 or 600 or 749? Or, you know,
What was
we
it?
need to have a dollar amount rather
What
than...
did we do
We
last
did
year?
$500 last year.
Well, we'll make it $500 then.
So the motion will reflect $500 then. All right? Make it clear so somebody doesn't ask for clarification later. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, council.
I thought it was based on what a half page might cost, and that's why they left a range, that's why.
Oh, yeah, no, we get a half page if we pay somewhere between that and that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next, of course, is a letter from our former Deputy Mayor Pickering, and this is to inform council of everything that she's been doing, and she's been selected as one of the participants for the GMIST, which is Grossmore Institute for Sustainable Tourism. And since she is here tonight, I think I'm going to ask her if she has anything you're trying to kind of keep us informed of what's going on, and she's probably going to talk to everyone individually. I know she and I have had many discussions on what she wants to do. She's looking for something for arts and culture for children in the area, and you know, that's just another need for a facility to hold some of these things. Is there anything that I'm assuming this is to let everybody, just for information for council, is there anything else you would like to mention? And if there is, you could attend to one of the mics, if you would, please. And we'll recognize Corinne Pickering.
Hi, thank you. No, it's something that I've been thinking about probably for the last 6 months, and that's why I decided to not reoffer for office, is because I want to put my focus towards a youth development center for the area. As we all know, as councillors, we're approached all the time by residents with their concerns and their thoughts on that there's not a lot to do for youth in our area. There's a lot of sports, and that's what I struggled with for a long time is what would the center actually be, because we do our sports really, really well in Kensington. We have great associations for minor hockey and figure skating and baseball and soccer and pickleball and all kinds of different things. But then I really started thinking more that there's not a lot in the arts and cultural section for that. So that's my focus for this. The program that I applied for, I stumbled upon it. I didn't even know about it when I started thinking about looking into this center. So it was great because it kind of seems to fit the agenda. They really want it to be a resident-led or citizen-led initiative through this program, and it doesn't have to be tourism-related. It's just to build your community type thing. So I went for it and I got accepted, so I'm really excited to get started on it. It's a 5-month program with 1 week in Grossmore doing intense learning at their institute. So through that, though, I have to do a presentation at the end of it in June, so it'll be me kind of coming up with a plan of some sort. So as much as I have a lot of ideas, I know there's a lot more ideas out there. So I would love to speak with all you individually to get some feedback from what you've heard from different residents. I plan to I've already talked to Mr. MacArthur at the school. I've talked to several other residents in the area. I have a good group of people that want to be involved in the process as well. A teacher wants to be really involved. Lindsay Connolly has expressed interest to be part of the planning process, and several other people. So it's good. So there's a lot of people that are really engaged already, but there's always lots to learn for what we want to build. So it's really just at the beginning idea stages. There's no long-term plan or date set or anything like that. Of course, a lot of it would come down to funding, which we do have a few avenues of where we're going to try to get funding sourced to get it up and going. The big thing, like Ivan was saying, we need a center for events and stuff like that. That could be cool to put it all in one building, kind of thing. So that's it. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, and thanks for that. And we do wish you all the best, and we know you're going to be working hard towards it. And I'm sure you'll keep me informed, and we'll certainly try to keep council informed, and whatever we can do to advance your actions, we will do what we can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For your support.
If you have any questions, Councillor Glant.
When you were speaking, I was just thinking the very question that you were going to talking about a center. Well, it comes, as you mentioned, it comes back to my point again. If we have a facility in our town, it could take in a lot of different organizations such as that. You know, they could have their space in there or whatever. So, again, how important it is that we need a facility in this community.
Thank you. Any other questions, council? All right, hearing none. The next item is a request for a donation for the coldest night of the year walk in Summerside. Council want to address that or receive for information? Councillor Glant.
I think we already expressed we just received that for information as we did last year.
All right, thank you. And the next item is advertising in the Central Coastal Region, but everything is sold out on that anyway, so I think we'll just receive that one for information. We haven't advertised in it anyway, right? So if there's nothing else, we are now at the point, there's no other additional correspondence. We are now at an in-camera session. And for those who are watching from home, that means that we have some items that we need to talk about that are confidential in nature at this stage of the game. If they come to the point where they become decisions to be made, we'll be bringing them before a regular council meeting. But at this stage of the game, we'll be ending our meeting, and
Ciao.
and we'll see you. Yeah, thanks, Corinne. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Oh, you're welcome.